the yoga practice is based on this idea that we have an accumulated stock of old habitual patterns. The Sanskrit word for this is often samskara. And the analogy that we're most often given for the samskaras is like that they're almonds. And these almonds are sort of implanted in the field of our consciousness. And when they're given the fertile ground, of attachment and aversion and all the other obstacles that come up, they start to put roots down and sprout up, and eventually they begin to flourish. And the fruit that's born off of this samskara tree is the fruit of suffering. And the whole idea with the practice of yoga is to search out through the field of our consciousness all of the almonds, the deeply buried ones, and in that process begin to sort of excavate them. And then we collect all of the almonds, and we the samskara almonds, and we put them in the frying pan of the fire of purification. That's the Agni, this fire of purification, also known as tapas, when it's internal fire that purifies the almonds. And then they start to fry, right? And we want to get them so cooked so they no longer have the potential to sprout and bear their fruit of suffering long term. The sad thing about this, though, is that the almonds that have already sort of borne their fruit, or the samskaras that are really deeply rooted, are familiar to us. They're like old friends. They lead to suffering, but it's somehow all we know about life. If we have a habitual pattern that we know so well, so it defines our whole existence, we can think of it like we're addicted to these things. Like, for example, people get addicted to emotions, get addicted to anger, we get addicted to pleasure, we get addicted to particular states. Some people are addicted to substances or activities and these sort of things. The samskaras are like addictions, and the yoga practice is a little bit, like working a 12-step program. It's a little bit like going through and slowly finding the roots of the suffering and working through making amends with all of the ways that this particular samskara has worked its negativity in our lives and in the lives of others as well. One of the things that begins to be really clear when you're practicing yoga, when you see clearly one of these samskaras, one of these negative behavioral patterns that's really worked its groove deeply and has borne its fruit throughout the field of your consciousness, you see how your particular behavioral pattern, your negative samskara, has created suffering not just for you, but in the lives of all of those around you. How you have then begun to be the messenger of suffering. Your heart breaks at that moment, and it's motivation for you to go and make amends in the past, and also to be a better person in the future, to change the negative samskara that would bear the fruits of suffering into the positive samskaras that lead you towards doing a spiritual practice, towards healing the planet and making good interpersonal relations with the world. The best yoga practitioner is one who will leave the world a better place than when they first entered. The best yoga practitioner is the one who, when they realize that they've created suffering in the lives of their family members, in the lives of their friends and their closest relations, will go back and make amends and create a new path forward into healing and friendliness. We're given these two words that are really useful for this. Maitri, which means friendliness, and karuna, which is compassion. These are really good tools to have in our box as yoga practitioners, so we can, leave the seeds of suffering, the seeds of negative samskaras behind, and plant the seeds of the positive samskaras of maitri, of friendliness, of karuna, like compassion in our lives. And we can then begin to be a true force of healing in the world.